really nice. And then like you get to it and you're like,
I feel you on that.
Sorry, I'm still down.
Yeah, I know.
Three.
I know.
There's basically all table
It's
tennis,
human
round
communication.
When is the class? You said
That's what I thought. Scrolling to college.
Oh, how did you feel about that?
it was pretty terrible to be honest.
Yeah. Yep,
I
I
feel
was
like
just talking to him about it.
whatever she lectures is and whatever is on the study guides is not what's on the test.
Thank you.
The last was like a 76 on it.
Yeah, 77, and I was like,
She's definitely not like. I mean, I was like for the first test, with the second test, I thought if I stopped talking, I just took the notes or like read the book, it would work. But that also didn't work. So
yeah, no, I have an election.
I don't know. I don't know what.
How long you been working?
I
Oh, I got
there's so many questions about high power.
I was like, so what's the difference? Like,
Yeah, right?
I struggled so much. I circled all the questions I didn't know, and then I went back through it, and I didn't know like 28 of the questions. So then I was like, all right, I haven't picked A in a while. I haven't picked a C in a while.
Oh my gosh, it was so
terrible.
bad. Okay, good, I'm not alone.
There's an.
Hey, Vicky.
I tried really hard. Like people were like, it took me like an hour. It's like a paragraph.
I'm high.
It's a whole paragraph.
Wait, can I say
Yeah, so walk every day.
It's like a page.
Directors, if you're here, you should also have your name, please. I am not ready.
Yeah, Charles is having more issues. Like he got an appointment this morning and like his cholesterol is like 400.
Charles gonna die. He's gonna die in jail too.
Is he coming today?
Alright, cool. So
He has an advisor meeting before later.
I literally have no idea.
I know. I was like, Charles, you don't have to come with us. Like,
There we go.
can't relate.
like you're on your desk. Literally don't represent it.
Where are our elected officials?
Have the plague. I don't
I don't think he's going formal. So it's one of finding
I can get them to.
Okay. You can't find all of it.
I'll find it. It's right here, Steve.
Thank you. Yes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 8th meeting of Old Dominion University Student Government Association. Today is October 31st, and the time is 3:03. Before we get started today, I just wanted to remind you all of what we've accomplished in Senate so far this year. We're doing some really awesome things for the student body, from the bus stops on Killam to the Alger labeling in Broderick, and even like the small things like handing out Scantrons in the office. All those things make a really big impact on this campus. I want you all to know that you're serving your community better than I could have ever asked of you or have ever expected. We have a small Senate this year, yes, and that does make quorum an issue. However, it just magnifies all the achievements that we have, and is further evidence of our capacity for service. Our numbers are growing though, and I'm thrilled that all the incoming senators have you all as mentors. The legacy left behind by this session will be a proud one. It's going to be filled with hard work and positive changes on our beautiful campus. I want to thank you all for your work so far and ask that you keep it up. Never forget that you all can come to me with any resources you need. And this meeting might be a bit lengthy because of all legislation that we do have. However, having this much legislation is just further evidence of how much that we're doing for the campus. Without further ado, let's get on with the agenda. So the first order of business today is the adoption of the agenda, followed by the adoption of the previous minutes, followed by quorum, followed by the ODUPD report, followed by old business, followed by new business, followed by adjournment. And I only did that because there was a pre-submitted motion for a special session. So if we don't do that, then we'll do the reports after new business. Okay. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Hare.
Motion to approve the agenda.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the agenda. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? Okay, the agenda's been approved. Mr. Rasheeda, can you bring up the previous minutes for me? Okay, the previous minutes were sent out ahead of time, so therefore they will not be read aloud. Are there any questions on the previous minutes? With no questions, the previous minutes have been approved. The next order of business is quorum, which we met today at 11. Good job, guys. And the next thing we have is the ODPD report.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Wow, that didn't sound too exciting. Happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Halloween. It's Halloween, so it's time to get up and get happy, right? And get hyped, right? But while you're doing that, be safe tonight, okay? Unfortunately, some of the crazies come out on Halloween, too. We all know that, don't we? Yes. Some people who don't have the best intentions come out on Halloween, too. Just be vigilant, be observant, be watchful. If you see anything out of the norm, make sure you report it. Stay away from that situation. Okay, guys? We want you to have a good time tonight. Just be respectful and be safe. That's all we ask. Okay? We have a special guest today. I'll let him introduce himself. One of our best and brightest. This young man that's about to speak to you now. It's a privilege to have him here speaking with us because actually I field trained him. I've been watching him throughout the years. He's become a really, really, really great, and I mean great police officer, so it's an honor for me to introduce him. I'll let him come up and introduce himself.
Thank you, Officer Evans. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Officer Powell. I'm an OD Police Department officer. I've been an Employee of the Month at least twice. I got the nomination. I got nominated for the University Gazelle Award, but I didn't make it, so that's an achievement within itself.
You almost had it. Almost had it.
So, as Officer Evans stated, he was my field training officer, primary field training officer, and Officer Pate was my alternate field training officer. And I mentioned my accomplishments and them as my trainers because on campus, I know sometimes the police relationship may not seem to be so positive, but you got these two individuals trying to fill in the void and trying to let everybody see that we do good police work. And as I said, I try to do my best, put my best foot forward. When you see our presence, we are doing what we do. We're trying to help keep you all safe. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Bingo.
If anything, you have any questions, feel free to ask. And we always want to have a good relationship with our student body. So thank you for having me here. And I'm glad that they invited me. Thank you.
Any questions for Officer Powell?
Yeah, any questions?
No questions for Officer Powell?
They went easy on you today.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Powell.
You're welcome.
Some quick stats. I know y'all have a long meeting today. So these stats go from the 1st of October through today. And just to let you know, it goes from 38th Street down to Magnolia to Water's Edge to Water's Edge to 1 mile in the water. But we don't have a boat, but it still goes to 1 mile in the water, okay? So just to give you a little information. We had 2 trespasses, 3 destruction of properties. And trespasses, just let me kind of, in case, I know this is a new, so I'm going to just, trespasses, after we tell somebody or we don't want them on our campus or university buildings and grounds, we tell them that they're not allowed. So we verbally tell them, sir, you're not allowed, ma'am, you're not allowed to come over to our property anymore. And if you do come on our property, you will be arrested for trespass. So this is one of the things we tell them. Destruction of properties, we have 3, and that could mean anything from damaging somebody's vehicle, and 9 times out of 10 that's what it is, because we have a lot of hit and runs here on campus. I'm sure that, I know we've had some members in here have property damaged, vehicles damaged, so that's what that is. 1 harassment, 8 drug violations, 10 assaults, 2 stalkings, threatening profane language, 2 of those, 1 robbery, 1 sexual battery, 2 burglaries, 16 larcenies, and 1 weapons violation, and alcohol has gone down, 2 alcohol violations. So let's woo-woo for that one. Does anybody have any questions on something that I may be able to address? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name's Tariq.
Hi, Tariq.
I just wanted to thank you guys. I know this weekend was kind of crazy. Also to tell you that I went to one of my friend's houses. We'll call it a late night event. And I went to his house.
I like that name.
And I actually convinced him, using your flyer and the things you talked about, convinced him to register his party. I'm pretty sure he worked with Officer Powell on things. So I just wanted to thank you guys and just tell you that it went well and everything was good. So
I'm glad.
Yeah.
See, you got hear that, it went well. All right.
That's
So
what it's all about.
continue to push Party Smart. Officer Evans and I, like I said, we are behind the 8 ball because we got to go catch up on some Party Smart stuff tonight. Guys, as you know, there's going to be a lot of parties, a lot of things going on tonight. But please, 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 please be vigilant tonight. If you're going to be out and about, we ask you to be vigilant, okay?
Use
If
the buddy
something,
system.
yeah, use the buddy
Safe
system,
ride.
safe ride, student escort, security, patrolling. Please use them. They are tools and resources. Please use them. We have the Live Safe app. Please, guys, if any other time, please use them tonight. Just be vigilant. We want you to be vigilant. Maybe there's nothing that's gonna happen, and we hope not, but just in case, it's better be what? Prepared, right? Just in case. All right, guys, thank you so much. Y'all be safe tonight.
Okay, so the next order of business is old business, starting with Senate Bill 10, the SWL contingency. Will the chief sponsor of that bill please come forward?
All right, so just for clarification, this bill was on the floor 2 weeks ago and was fast-tracked and was voted on in a special session and was approved, but we were not at quorum, so it was moved to second reading status instead of the bill actually passing. But then we were not at quorum last week, so we couldn't vote on it. But the organization already received money for their event, which was last Monday, and it's not against the bylaws for an organization to receive funding before the bill is passed. Yet we still have to pass the bill. Are there any questions?
Any questions for the chief sponsor? All right, if no further questions, is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Terry.
Motion to enter voting procedure.
There's a motion on the floor to ending voting procedure. Is there a second? Any opposition? Okay, we're now in voting procedure. All in favor of passing this bill, please raise your hand. With 10 yeas and 1 abstain, this bill clearly passes. And the next order of business is the table tennis contingency. Thank you, Karen.
This bill was also tabled back to committee because the totals on the bill was incorrect. But now the totals match the amounts that the Table Tennis Association requested.
Are there any questions for the chief sponsor of this bill? Yes, Senator Terry.
Did they already receive their money or?
No.
Are there any further questions? And with no further questions, is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Hammond.
Motion to vote.
There's a motion on the floor to vote. All in favor? All opposed? No opposition. We are now in voting procedure. All in favor of passing this bill, please raise your hand for me. All right, with 10 yeas, 0 nays, and 1 abstain, this bill clearly passes. And the next order of business is Senate Bill 12, the Strom Sales Club contingency.
Are there any questions about this contingency?
So I'm not sure if even this is open to whole ODU community. This directs to a particular niche. So I'm wondering how would this be beneficial to all ODU?
Sorry, what was your question?
Okay. So the Stone Sales Club,
Yes.
even though it's open to all the ODU community, this is professional organization.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. But it targets only a particular niche, not the whole ODU community, right?
Well, it targets a certain group of people in the ODU community, but it's open to everybody in the ODU community.
Well, as per my understanding, it's like whoever want to do for business, kind of to develop their entrepreneur skills, they can do the sales in this, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just have a question about how this event gonna benefit the whole ODU community.
Well, for anybody who would need to strengthen their skills on like interviewing or have questions on how to dress, assumed they would come to this event, learn some information.
Okay, are there any further questions for the chief sponsor of this bill? No? Okay. No further questions. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Hare.
Motion to enter voting procedure.
There's a motion on the floor to ending voting procedure. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? Okay, we are now in voting procedure. Please raise your hand nice and high for me if you would like to pass this bill. Any nays? Okay, with 9 yeas, 1 nay, and 1 abstain, this bill clearly passes. The next order of business is Resolution 2. Please fill that in. Yeah, there. The additional Killen bus stop. Will the chief sponsor this bill, please? Hi, Kyron.
Are there any questions for this resolution?
No. No further questions? Okay. No questions for the chief sponsor. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Simpson.
Madam Speaker, motion to enter voting, motion to enter voting procedure.
There's a motion on the floor to enter voting procedure. Is there a second? Any opposition? Okay, we are now in voting procedure. All in favor of passing Resolution 2, please raise your hand nice and high. Okay, all opposed? Any abstains? Okay, with 9 yeas, 2 abstains, and 0 nays, this bill clearly passes. The next order of business is Resolution 1. Okay, Jordan, do you want to come forward for Resolution 1?
Sure. Hey guys, just to kind of explain what's going on here. So a few weeks ago, we passed Resolution 1 in Senate, and because the resolution changes our Constitution, the student body does have to vote on this. And before we reached the 30-day limit, I did reread over the bill, and I decided to veto it because I was chatting with Ron, and he told me that my wishes of having 250 signatures before signing any resolution wasn't in the Constitution or the bylaws. I decided that I would veto this particularly because I would like that in there and from every resolution going forward, so that that requirement is there, and that way when we do send it out, then the administration and anyone that reads the resolution knows that the student body did support that.
Okay, so if you guys wish to overturn his veto, then we would need a 2/3 vote, which is 7 people. I did write it on my arm so I wouldn't forget. So we're going to vote, so we'll have to motion on whether to overturn it now. And then if we do decide to overturn his veto, then in order to pass the bill again, we need a 3/4 vote, which is 9 people. I also wrote that on my arm.
I move to,
Point of information, real quick. The signatures he's requiring, or he's asking to require, would require a completely separate resolution going forward, because the Constitution nor the bylaws state that you have to have signatures in order to pass a resolution, so keep that in mind when you guys are thinking about whether you're going to put it back on the floor or not. Nothing states that we have to have 250 signatures. That's just something that is wanted. And until that is changed, that is not something that is required.
Yes, Senator Turner.
Point of information, so the bill isn't necessarily unconstitutional, it's the requirement for however many signatures. Is that what's...
Agree. So this bill particularly was to change the way that we do senator confirmations, if you guys remember correctly. Because do you remember how we were doing it last year? That wasn't actually constitutional, so like the way we're doing it this year is. This was to make it how we did it last year. So what happened was that this was supposed to go for vote by the student body, and that vote is supposed to be the evidence that the students want it. However, like the voting kind of got messed up, so it never actually got voted on. So that's, I mean, you know, so it would have just kind of died, but then it got vetoed. So, so you guys have an option to either put this bill back on the table and vote on it now, and then we can get the student body to vote before Jordan gets a resolution on like getting 250 student body signatures, or we can not put this bill back on the table. ever, or we can put it back on the table like later after Jordan's resolution goes through. Does that make sense? Did I explain that well? Okay, so with that in mind, is there a motion on the floor at this time? Senator Simpson.
I move to enter voting procedure.
There's a motion on the floor to ending voting procedure. Is there a second? Any opposition? Okay, we're now in voting procedure. So all in favor of overruling the veto, please raise your hand. Okay, so with 9 yeas, it's more than 7. We have a 2/3 vote on this, so we've overruled the veto. Yay. Okay, so now we have to go back into voting procedure to vote on whether or not to pass the bill. So we can deny it permanently, or we can pass it. And then we'll have to get it voted on by anybody. Is that clear? Yeah, awesome. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Terry.
Point of information?
Yes.
So the 200,
Inquiry.
just be clear. Oh, point of inquiry, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. The 250 signatures is not a part of the bill at all.
No.
So we pass this, assuming we pass this and then we won't need the 200?
No, you will not.
Okay,
But that is correct, yeah. Yeah, it just has to be voted on by the student body.
right, okay.
Okay. Are there any further questions at this time? Okay. Is there a motion on the floor? Yes, Senator Johnson.
Motion to enter voting procedure.
There's a motion on the floor to enter voting procedure. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? Okay, we are now in voting procedure. Please raise your hand nice and high for me if you would like to pass this bill. Okay, is all opposed? Any abstains? Okay, so with 9 yeas, 2 abstains, and 0 nays, this bill clearly passes. Yay. Okay, next order of business. The one that's, we already did the one that's up.
Oh, my bad, yeah, I forgot.
Okay, the next order of business is Resolution 3, the Academic Advisor Initiative. Thanks, Kyron.
Are there any questions about this resolution?
How about you give us an overview of what it was, since...
Okay, so basically what this resolution is saying is that when most of majors, when you become a senior or when, not a senior, a sophomore, or when you pick your concentration within your major, you're assigned a new advisor. But most of us don't really know who our advisor is. So what this resolution is saying is if this was passed, an advisor would have to introduce themselves to you, whether email or face-to-face or wherever they would see fit.
Okay, are there any questions at this time for the chief sponsor of this bill? No? Okay, no questions. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Terry.
Motion to enter voting procedure?
There's a motion on the floor to enter voting procedure. Is there a second? Any opposition? Okay, we're now in voting procedure. All in favor of passing this bill, please raise your hand. Any abstains? With 10 yeas, 1 abstain, and 0 nays, this bill clearly passes. Okay, the next order of business is Resolution 4, the allergen labeling. Will the chief sponsor of this bill please come forward at this time?
Will's not here. So
That's crazy. Will another representative from this committee please come forward? Or Steven, that works too.
Yeah. So this is the allergen labeling resolution. It basically just states that they need to have proper labeling within the Project Dining Commons. They do have labeling in some of the other locations like CAF, but it's just not on. It's on, if you go and look up on the website, it can tell you what the allergies are, but it's not specifically posted in the dining hall. So that's what this resolution is to do.
Are there any questions for the director of this committee at this time? No? Thank you. Are there any motions on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator.
Motion to enter voting procedure.
There's a motion on the floor to enter voting procedure. Is there a second? Any opposition? All right, we are now in a voting procedure. Please raise your hand if you would like to pass this bill. Any nays? Any abstains? With 10 yeas, 1 abstain, and 0 nays, this bill clearly passes. The next order of business is, what is it? Oh, the bylaws for construction phase 3, elections, articles, joint resolution.
So this resolution basically just reworded a couple things where the bylaws and sort of restructuring the process that SJ currently follows for elections. Were there any questions about the amendments that were proposed or the procedures going forward?
Are there any questions for the chief sponsor of the bill? No? Okay. Thank you, Connor. All right, with no further questions, is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Hare.
Motion to enter voting procedure.
There's a motion on the floor to enter voting procedure. Is there a second? Any opposition? You're now in voting procedure. All in favor of passing this bill, please raise your hand. Any abstains? Thank you. With 10 yeas, 1 abstain, and 0 nays, this bill clearly passes. Okay, next order of business, Senate Bill 13. We're on new business. Oh my gosh, this is me. Okay, so this is Senate Bill 13. This is a new senator confirmation bill. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's a pre-submitted motion to add NOAA duty to this bill. There we go. That's what I wanted. So with the pre-submitted motion, is there a second? Thank you. Is there any opposition? Okay, so Mr. Chief of Staff, can you please add NOAA duty to the new senator confirmation bill? Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the 3 of you guys to come up here.
How do you spell the last name?
D-O-O-D-Y. So Noah, Nyesha, and Owen, can you guys come up? So the reason why I did that motion ahead of time was so that you guys could see Noah before, like, I introduced him. I don't know. All right, so I interviewed these 3 wonderful candidates. They're all very qualified. If you guys want to see their applications, you could, I'll share it with you. So if you guys have any questions for them, I think I'll let them introduce themselves real quick first. Noah, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm Noah Duty. I'm a sophomore here. I'm a civil engineering major. Some of the other stuff I'm involved with, I'm part of Young Life Meets Tuesdays. I'm also part of the SVA, and I'm currently trying to get into the Marine Corps Officer Candidate Program.
Oh, do you want to go next?
Sure. My name is Owen Houghton. I'm a recent transfer here to ODU, transferred from Thomas Nelson Community College on the Peninsula in Hampton. Involved in Mall United Nations here at ODU, studying international relations. Looking forward to being a really productive member of this body.
Hi everybody, my name is Nyesha Osifeso. I'm a junior here at ODU. I'm currently a double major in political science and philosophy. I'm a member of WEPA, which is a Latin dance organization. I'm a member of the Latino Student Alliance. And I work on campus with student engagement and enrollment services in the communications department. And I'm so excited to join SGA. I'm definitely gonna be very productive.
Thank you guys. Okay, so do we have any questions for the new inductees? No. Awesome. Thank you guys. You may sit down. Okay, so there is a pre-submitted motion to fast track this bill. Is there a second to that motion? Is there any opposition? Okay, so this bill has been fast tracked. So the next order of business is Senate Bill 14, readjustment bill.
I yield the floor to Pro Tempore Jacobs.
Hey guys.
Hey. Hey guys. All right. So after Senate one day, I was talking with our Chief Justice and a couple of senators and our current Director of Public Relations and Recruitment, and we decided that recruitment is a part of the Director of PR and Recruitment's job description, but she doesn't really have time to focus on the recruitment aspect of the organization simply because there's so much that goes into public relations. So this bill is essentially one, it's, can you scroll down a little bit, Mr. Chief of Staff? So the first section of it, I guess, is to strike certain points of her job description from the bylaws. And then can you scroll down a little bit more? A little bit more. The next section, you can stop. The next section is to amend current points to coincide with the Director of Public Relations and Recruitment. And then can you scroll down a little bit more? And then the last part is essentially I'm going to add them to my job description. So we will be changing the name from Director of Public Relations and Recruitment strictly to the Director of Public Relations. And this is why, because under Public Relations, there is marketing, and under marketing, there is certain things that is for recruitment, but it's not recruitment based. And I took on the responsibility of recruiting for the organization while she is recruiting to the student body. So those are basically the different things. So I'll be having like tabling events and things like that to get people to join the organization as senators. However, she will still do things like the involvement fair, and then I will partner with her for SGA Day, things like that, so we can still recruit the organization to the student body.
Yep. Are there any questions for Mr. Pro Tem Jacobs? No? You can sit down. With no questions on the floor, is there a motion at this time? Remember, this is new business. So, Senator Terry.
Motion to move this bill to second reading status.
There's a motion on the floor to move this bill to second reading status. Is there a second? Any opposition? Okay, this bill is now second reading status. Next one for me, Tyler. Next order of business is Senate Bill 15, the research-based academic mentorship in psychology contingency. Will the chief sponsor of this bill please come forward? That's you, Sam.
Good afternoon, Senate.
Yeah.
So RAMP is asking for $1,000 to get their software licensed. Could the org representatives come forward at this time?
Okay.
Would you guys mind sharing with the group what you guys do? Yeah.
Like as an organization?
As an org, yes.
Okay, sure. Okay, hi, my name's Jacqueline. So for RAMP, we are known as Research Academic Based Mentorship in Psychology. So our focus is mainly on like alcohol research on alcohol. So we study many different things. So like alcohol abuse, threat, things about health too. So things are kind of relevant in the world. So we do a lot of research, and we have a lot of funding for like trips and like conferences and stuff. So this is pretty much like all we do is just like the research and the trips and conferences and all that. So do you guys have anything to add?
The goal of our organization, we work directly with graduate students and a PhD, Dr. La Baracco, she works here on campus, and they're basically like our mentors. So like when you join our organization, you basically get assigned to one of the grad students, and their goal is to get us in grad school, essentially, within psychology. So we do not only do we do the research, but we go to conferences, and we're trying to gain as much experience as undergrads for our grad degrees.
Are there any questions at this time for the chief sponsor of this bill? Yes, Senator Terry.
I guess more question for the organization.
Yeah, do you guys want to stay after to like the questions, all right? Sorry.
I guess could you explain the Life Data software and what that is and why you need it?
Yeah. So the Life Data software enables us to do like an EMA study. It's a new study, so it's the kind of thing where instead of having participants do a survey once a day. It's something that asks them questions throughout the day. So we get their real life, like what's actually happening to them while it's happening. So it's like an app on the phone. So when we have a year software for it, any participants that we have within this study will have the downloaded onto their phone and paid by through like the organization. And so we can collect the data that we're doing. It's really important that we do this. Well, not really. I'm not going to say it's not important. But it's important because we want that experience as undergrads, and we're really pushing for it because it's a new thing and it'll make us just a step higher for when we are trying to apply to grad school. It's not as common as a study type right now.
Yeah, we're just trying to get experience right now being undergrads, and we're working closely with all these professors and everything, and we're just mainly focusing on research that's impacting us now and things that are coming out new, because with technology and everything advancing, we're just mainly looking for the future steps ahead, everything that's just now coming in that we're focusing on for the future. So that's what our research is aimed at right now.
Are there any further questions for either the chief sponsor or the representatives from the org at this time? No? Okay. Thank you, ladies. Okay, with no further questions, is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Johnson.
A motion to move this bill to second reading status.
There's a motion on the bill to move. There's a motion on the floor to move this bill to second reading status. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? This bill is now in second reading status. Okay, the next order of business. Oh my gosh, this is mine. Okay, so. So in response to us not meeting quorum, for the special session and then for the last meeting, and how there's a couple orgs that kind of suffered from that because of their contingencies. This bill is meant to redefine what a contingency is. So it's no longer considered a bill, so it doesn't have to, it's its own separate entity, so it doesn't have to go through first and second reading status. We just have to vote on it once, and it has to be the majority of who's here, the senators who are here in this moment. So if there's 2 of you, you just need 2 people to vote. Oh wait, that's an even number. There's 3 of you in the room, then we just need 2 out of the 3 people to say yes to it. That makes sense. So there, we can still serve the student body and get everybody what they need, regardless of who's here. It's just for the contingencies. Is there any questions for me at this time? No? Okay. No questions. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Terry.
Motion, I guess, to a friendly amendment to change the wording of the times just to as defined by the speaker, the current speaker of the Senate.
What line are you looking at?
13, and there's one later on. Yeah, 13 and 14.
So instead of saying the locations of the deliberation by 5 p.m., you're saying, wait. I'm sorry, repeat what you're trying to change.
So just to amend it to say that instead of the 5 p.m. on the Wednesday before, if we want to put it as a bill that's going to go on forever, then we want it to be as defined by the speaker.
So the reason why I made it by 5 p.m. Was just because that's how it's currently stated in the financial bylaws. So I wasn't trying to change anything Rafia was doing, because that's her department. I was just trying to change what we call them. Do you know what I mean? So that's okay if you want to do that. I'm letting you know that's why it's like that. So there's a motion on the floor to amend lines 13 and 14 to, instead of saying by 5 p.m. say to the speaker's time discretion. Is that?
Yeah, but it's something.
Yeah. Is there a second? Okay, is there any opposition? Okay, there's neither thing. We're going to try this again. Is there a second? Okay, is there any opposition? Okay, so because there's opposition, we're going to take a rising hand vote. All in favor of this amendment, please raise your hand. Okay, all opposed? Okay, any abstains? Okay, so with 3 yeas, 7 nays, and 1 abstain, this motion clearly dies. Okay, Are there any further motions to this bill this time?
Point of order. Information. So I just want to let everyone know that the 5 p.m. deadline is actually not for like Senate, but it's for organizations. The contingencies should be submitted by 5 p.m. That's not when they come to Senate. That's just when they're submitted on Monarch Lake. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay, cool. Is there a motion on the floor this time? Senator Sims?
I move to fast track this bill.
Oh, there's a motion on the floor to fast track this bill. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? Okay, this bill has been fast tracked. Speaker Pro Tem Jacobs, can you edit the
Special session
agenda to add this? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, the next order of business. Oh, that's it. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, so is there a motion on the floor at this? Sorry. Let's go back over the agenda. So today we had the adoption of the agenda, followed by the adoption of the previous minutes, followed by quorum, which we met at 11, followed by the ODUPD report, followed by old business, followed by new business. And is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Sims.
I move to adjourn.
There's a motion on the floor to adjourn. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? You're now adjourned. So everybody stand up and sit back down. That's a good part. I'm gonna hit it down a little bit so you can talk all you want. Just waiting for the next agenda, guys. 1 minute. Yeah, just whatever. Take your time. We got like a 2-second break, guys. Just chill for a minute. Yes.
Point of personal privilege. I have a meeting starting at 3:45. I request to be.
Oh, yeah. This is point of personal privilege. You're okay. Yep. What time to be on? Yeah, we're at 10 right now. We're at 10. What a time to be on live. At 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. You get it. I picked
Okay.
It was just funny because
I'm gonna have you introduce yourself during my report so people know.
No.
The person said that.
It's for the person's.
right. So that makes sense. Yeah, that's fine.
Hey. Is it so late that like sorry. Just yell at him. I was like running around so I couldn't do it and everything wrong. It's fine. What's going on, guys? Oh, okay. We're still just chilling here.
I just want to make sure that everything that should be on here is on here. So it's just a senator confirmation and then the redefining. Oh, it's right there. Great. These everything else was what was just fast track? This was fast track.
Redefining images.
And then the other senator confirmation is the only other thing that was fast tracked. Nothing else needs to be on here. Then you have
It was 3 fast track?
There's 3. The rent was ranked 1 up.
Yeah, okay, so it should just be
Oh, what was the one that was pre-mentioned?
Senator confirmation. So it's just the 2 things then, right? We're good? Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I talked to the lawyer.
The reading status? Tennis was passed, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Tennis, Strum was passed?
Strum was passed. SFUL was passed. Second reading status.
Okay, so then Senate confirmation, that was fast tracked, and then all the resolutions. All of the resolutions were okay. Then we're good.
We're good, guys. We got it.
Great job.
It's like, here we go.
Alright, let's go.
Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the special session of the 87th session of Old Dominion University Student Government Association. Today is Tuesday, October 31st, and the time is 3:44 p.m. So today we're going to start with the adoption of the agenda, followed by quorum, followed by old business, followed by the President's Vice President's report, followed by the Treasurer's report, followed by the Chief Justice report, Senate committee reports, advisor report, reserve seat report, public comments and announcements, followed by adjournment. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Johnson.
I motion to approve the agenda.
Motion on the floor to approve the agenda. Is there a second? Any opposition? Okay, the agenda's been approved. All right, so next order of business is quorum. We're still quorum, guys. We got 10. We're doing good things. All right, the next order of business is old business, beginning with the Senator confirmation bill.
Point of order.
Yeah.
The Roman numerals on the special session agenda are wrong. But the agenda has already been approved. But I still need to make that aware. So, here it goes.
All right, we just got some weird numbers, guys. It's okay. Sorry. So will the three senators please come forward? The inductees. Okay, so are there any further questions for the new prospective senators? No? Okay, so this then is our motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator Terry.
Motion to enter voting procedure.
So motion on the floor to enter voting procedure. Is there a second? Any opposition? Okay, we're now in voting procedure. All in favor of inducting these three wonderful people, please raise your hand. Okay, with a unanimous 10 yeas, 0 abstains, and 0 nays, this bill clearly passes. All right, so Ron's going to induct these people real quick. Do it again. Just kidding. You guys are going to come back in like a hot second.
We're coming up on 4 o'clock.
Okay. Oh. Okay, so we're going to move on, and we're going to induct him during my report. Sorry. You guys are sit down for like a hot second. Yeah. Okay, so is the next bill... So the next order of business is the contingency redefining a contingency bill. Are there any further questions for me at this time about this bill? No. Okay, so if there's no further questions, then is there a motion on the floor at this time? Senator Hare.
Motion to enter voting procedure.
There's a motion on the floor to enter voting procedure. Is there a second? Any opposition? We are now in voting procedure. All in favor of passing Senate Bill 16, redefining contingency, please raise your hand. All right, with 10 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 abstains, this bill clearly passes. Okay, so the next order of business is the President's report.
Can you guys hear me in the back? Cool. So, just kind of, my report's going to be very brief today. So just starting off, it's not next week. It's the week after next, November 14th, is Safe Lanes, and that'll be from 11 to 2. So I'm excited to see you all there. It's going to be a wonderful event, and it's going to be cool to kind of spread awareness of alcohol awareness and also just kind of drug abuse awareness as well. But it's just going to be a cool way for SGA to kind of like push an initiative that we started last year and continue that on for this year as well. Also, if any of you are interested, that includes exec, senate, and the people in the gallery, if you're interested in helping me kind of sit down and work with Courtney and myself to rearrange how parking is structured on campus, I would really love everyone's input so that way we can find the best solution to the problem and while making everyone happy. Also, Director of Safety and Transportation coming soon. So then the executive board will finally be filled. So I'm super, super excited. Brandy, my Director of Public Relations and Recruitment, she reached out to all of the past SGA presidents, and she's working on her initiative called Brought to You by SGA. And basically, I'm super excited for this because this will be a way for us as an organization to show the student body what we've done in the past years, and it'll be kind of like a timeline that'll be available to everyone. So anyone ever asks, hey, what has SGA done? And we can show them, and it'll be like a visible thing, and I think that's going to be super, super cool. Unfortunately, this week I didn't have a quote because I didn't have time to sit down and get one, but I'm going to echo what Andy said earlier, and I'm super, super happy, and I'm super, super proud of all of you for all the hard work that you're doing, because we're definitely taking the organization in a new direction. I'm super excited to see what we're going to do from here on out. Thanks, guys.
The next order of business is the Vice President's report. And report. Okay, next order of business is the treasurer's report. And Chief Justice report.
Oh, wait, you're done, yours.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Next order of business is my report. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's induct everybody before I do my quote of the week. So, can you guys come forward for me?
All right. How are you all doing? Good. Come forward. Bring it a little bit. All right. You're gonna raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Owen Hahn,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
to uphold or to vow to uphold
to uphold
the vision and mission of Old Dominion University
the mission and vision of Old Dominion University
through my service to the student government,
through my service to the student government,
the entirety of the student body,
the entirety of the student body,
and the university, and impartially execute for the welfare and representation of all students
for the welfare and representation of all students
the duties of senator
as
as prescribed by the Constitution of the Student Government Association
prescribed by the Constitution of the Student Government Association
and Old Dominion University Student Conduct Policy.
and Old Dominion University Student Conduct Policy. Wait. Thank you. I need to share right
Wait, can I be in the picture?
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
Alright, fine. Alright.
Why wouldn't you count?
I said I
Okay, so next order of business, we have another new senator. So we have a new reserve seat. Do you want to come up and introduce yourself? Thank you.
Hello, I'm Annie. I'm from ISAB, the International Student Board Association, and I'm here to represent them. Here's your pen. Good work on with you.
Okay. Next order of business is the fun fact of the week. Who's excited? Okay, so the fun fact this week is called the Sunshine Law. It sounded really happy, but it's actually super boring. So it's so basically it just means it's like the way that we run our meetings. So the Sunshine Law basically just means that like we're open to like the whole population. So we're like never gonna tell anybody that like they can't come into the meeting. Basically, it's on the board. Okay, and that's it for my report. I think. Yeah, it is. Juwan, do you have a report this week?
I do. But it's really in my eye.
What time do you want?
Right. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey. All right. So, first thing I want to say is, senators, I'm really, really proud of you guys for speaking today. I heard a lot of different voices. Yay, that's pretty exciting. The next thing I want to say is, when a bill or a resolution is on second reading status, that you should still be able to explain the bill. Just because it's on second reading status doesn't mean that prospective senators it's their first meeting, they need exposure to the bill also, so just make that aware. You should still explain the bill every time you are presenting something. Next, senators, please vote. I saw that means like vote, make motions, like all that stuff. Like if you have a question, say something, because a lot of you looked confused today, but you didn't ask any questions. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that you can ask as many questions as you need for you to understand the bill.
Point of information, those would be point of inquiries, because you're acquiring more information.
Yeah. Which brings me to my next point. Don't be afraid to disagree in Senate or ask questions. I noticed some of you make faces sometimes like, oh, that's not really correct, or I don't really think so, but you don't say anything. We encourage debate here. So if you ever like have something that you need to say or want something that needs to be said, please say it. Or if you have a question, please ask it, because other people might have the same question that you do. Next, like President Smith said, Safe Lanes is November 14th from 11 to 2. I sent an email to all of the senators asking for volunteers, and I got 4 responses. But there are more than 4 of you. So this is like, I'm going to say it again, I need volunteers. Remember, this counts as one of your 2 events per month that you are required to do. Everyone nod your head yes. You're required to do those. So if you need to volunteer or you need to do an event for that month, which all of you do, please, please, please let me know. Please let me know right after this Senate meeting. The next thing, I want to encourage more chief sponsors and co-sponsors. Kyron, you presented a lot of stuff today, but Kyron's not the only senator. So please put your name on some legislation. Don't just put your name. Actually know what the legislation is about. You can go to an older senator or a veteran senator and ask to be put on legislation so you can gain that exposure. But please, 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 it should not just be one person all of the time. The next thing is the legislation workshop that I've been talking about forever. It's finally going to happen. I spoke with Chief Justice Rugg, and we decided that it would be best to do it in Senate because most of you are here in Senate. So it's going to be in Senate. It's going to be a PowerPoint, but it's going to be really fun and interactive, and I'm going to give away prizes. So don't be like, oh my gosh, PowerPoints, they're boring, because my PowerPoint will not be boring, and there will be prizes. What will there be? Prizes. Everybody say prizes. Prizes. Oh yeah. All right. That's it. Have a great day.
SBA social lock-in, November 11th. Don't forget. That's it.
Put it in the group chat so people don't forget.
Yes, put it in the group chat.
Julian, do you have a report this week?
I have one, but I'm not going to say it. Seniors, if you are graduating in December, please come talk to me so I can order you all sashes.
The stoves.
The stoves.
All the above. All right. Next order of business. Taya.
I don't know.
Will all the student orgs that are being recognized today come up, please? While they're coming up, one of the things that my committee talked about yesterday is one of the points of standard is to attend a professional development session. So my committee and I, which consists of Senator Johnson and Souza, we're going to be hosting a professional development session next semester. So look forward to that coming out. And here they are. We'll see. I see Scott. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay. So the first one I would like to recognize today is the American Association of University Women at ODU. Will the representative of that organization come up, please? There's a lot, so I'm not going to read the bio, but I'm just going to call them. Right. The next one is the ODU Biomedical Engineering Student Association. The next one is Phi Sigma Rho. The next one is Sky Welkin. The next one is Data Science and Database Student Club. I don't think they're represented today. The National Council of Negro Women. And the Off-Campus and Commuter Student Association. All right, I'm going to take a picture with Jordan. Thank you guys for coming. Can we give them one more round of applause?
I'm coming. That's okay.
Senator Johnson, you can come in this picture too. Come on.
Bring your beautiful face with the world.
I'm going to take a little panoramic picture so that I'm just
All right, thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, Isaiah. I'm going to take your thing. Okay, next report. Rafi, do you report this week?
Yes, it's really short. Hi guys. One quick thing. SG is having their first budget workshop November 16th. It's a Thursday during activity hour, and it'll be in the BOB. So that's good.
Michelle's not here this week. Courtney's not here this week. Brady's not here this week. It's all like this. Steven, you report this week.
Hey guys, so last Friday, James, Brandon, and I met with the Vice President and we presented our proposal for the spirit aesthetics on campus, such as the banners across like Kaufman, the quad, and locations like that, as well as paving a path and adding some spirit rocks on campus. So he liked our ideas. He's going to be chatting with a few people that he works with, administration-wise, and then get back to us, and so hope we're moving in the right direction with that. Next, Town Hall is going to be November 27th. It is going to be in the Hampton Newport Newsroom from 6 to 8. That is an event, so if you're interested in helping, I'll have a sign-up sheet start coming around next week. That can count as your event for the month. I'm also meeting with the RHA, the Resident Hall Association, tomorrow to discuss. They're going to be helping co-sponsor that event as well. Housekeeping Appreciation Day, November 14th. I do still need help writing a couple more of the thank you cards. They're not all done. So if you're in the office in your office hours, you can feel free to go on my desk and grab them. The list is in there of what's been done and what hasn't. If you need help finding that, I'll be in the office during my office hours, and I'll probably be in there some more times this week for some other things, so you can just ask me. Now, I know I've been saying like the Monarch Secret Shopper thing is supposed to have started like 2 weeks ago. We were having some issues with printing the cards, so I've still been in contact with Kimberly Thompson. She's our marketing director for dining, and so we're still trying to fix that, and so hopefully that will start this week. That's all I have.
Alright, Chris isn't here.
He got the report.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Okay. Would you like to come up and give it?
Hello? Oh my gosh, hello. I just always wanted to do that. So unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately for him, Chris got a nice new job, so he can't come to Senate anymore. But that's unfortunate for us, so I'll be giving his report. Let's see here.
So I'm going to interrupt you real quick. If you have a 420 class, you can leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because of his new job, we didn't get a chance to meet today, but we are getting back. We're working with a class of his. We're getting back some statistical data that we can use around campus to try and get these challenges going. Basically, what we're trying to do is get people more active on campus and get more information out there. And we're looking to see what activities, through surveys and stuff, what activities students would actually participate in. And we are either going to implement those activities either more than likely next spring, but we're going to try and do it this fall, but it will be more than likely next spring. But that's it for his report. He apologized he can't be here, but that's it.
Dr. Peake, do you have a report this week?
I did. Oh my gosh.
I bring you greetings from Leadership, Student, and Involvement. How are we doing this afternoon?
Awesome.
Awesome. So we have our last couple of student org workshops that are coming up. Emails went out to your presidents on yesterday afternoon, so I encourage you to give them some reminders of them. Student Orgs 101, that is primarily for newly created organizations. It is a requirement in order to receive full recognition through SGA, the Administrative Affairs Committee. It is also for organizations that just need a refresher, whether you have new leadership and you're just interested in knowing all of the programs and services that are provided to you by our office. And all of these can be found on Monarch Link. Please RSVP because I do serve you food, but I need to know how many of you are coming. Budget season is upon us, so I'm partnering with the Finance Committee to do a collaboration for our Officers Academy. As Rafi has stated, that will be the SGA budget workshop. Please RSVP for that event. It will be located in this room. I cannot serve you food for that one. I'm sorry. The last advisor brown bag for this semester is November 13th. If your organization is looking for ways to get involved through service or civic engagement outside of campus in the Hampton Roads community, encourage your advisor to come and listen to the panel of faculty that will share ways that you can do that. And finally, the Monarch Link training. How many of you actually know how to navigate Monarch Link successfully? That's great, awesome. Well, as I said, budget season is upon us. So in order to be able to upload your budget, to be able to figure out where things are located within your budget, you need to have some type of knowledge of Monarch Link. So encourage your treasurer, particularly, and your president to sign up for that so that they know where things are to be submitted. Am I correct? Raphael will co-sign for that. We have 2 leadership lecture series that are left for this semester on November 8th and November 15th. The first one will talk about culturally competent leadership, and the second one will discuss difficult dialogue. Both of those will be facilitated by faculty in the Sociology and Criminology department. Again, RSVP for those on Monarch Link. And then Paul funding. If you are interested in receiving additional funding for your spring 2018 event, that application is due this Friday. If you have questions, you can contact Matt Garvin or any member of Student Activities Council. How many of you are not afraid of heights? Not afraid of heights.
Oh, not afraid of heights.
Not afraid. Ever wanted to climb the stadium? Or rappel off of the stadium?
Yes.
Well, the Army JROTC will be having their rappel training on November 16th from 9 to 3 p.m. If you are bold enough to climb down the football stadium, please find the link on Monarch Link to RSVP for that.
Is there a weight limit?
It did not say, no, but it is open to all faculty, staff, and students. It looks fun. I would totally do it, but I'm not. Monarch Guardian. Last month I shared with you a new initiative that our program assistants have started in an effort to better market your student organizations and to just share all the cool things that your organizations are doing on campus in Hampton Roads. So if you want to get an opportunity to have your organization showcased, please complete the form on Monarch Link. It is due by tomorrow at 4:00 p.m. Unfortunately, I can only choose 2. So depending on how many submit, that will determine how many I have to choose from. Last month, we had some pretty cool things taking place on campus. And I hope that you all got a chance to read it. How many of you read The Monarch Guardian? Mm-hmm. That makes me so sad. James, does that make you sad?
Heartbroken.
Where can they find The Monarch Guardian? On Monarch Link, right? James is one of the editors for that. So I encourage you, if you want your stuff shared with the campus community, please fill out the form. It's another way to just keep track of what's going on, but also celebrate with each other because you all are doing some really cool things. And it's really sad that it's not being showcased in a better way. And if you're looking for other fundraising opportunities, again, California Pizza Kitchen, they are now one of the venues that will participate in, if you get people a flyer and they mention your organization, you receive 20% of the sales for that particular day. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? Awesome. You all have a good day on purpose.
Okay. Senator Simpson, do you report this week? Senator Lee, do you report this week? Senator Glenn, do you report this week? Senator Zersey. Do you report this week? No. Any reserve seats to report? No. Okay. Next order of business. Public comments or announcements. Is there any public comment or announcement? Yes, Julian.
New senators, come see me after Senate.
any more public's comment? Yes, Mr. Lucas.
On Thursday, the Center for Advising is having an event where they are helping freshmen, students who've never registered for classes before, register for classes. It'll be Thursday in front of the Web Info Desk. SGA is co-sponsored with them, so if you guys can come. It's going to be during the activity hour on Thursday.
Are there any more public comments or announcements? Yes, Senator Newman.
Bethel Campus Fellowship is having a fellowship night in Constant Room 1002. If you would like a flyer or to know more about it, come by and see me.
Okay, is there any more public comments or announcements at this time? No? Okay, so we're going to go over the agenda. So today we had the adoption of the agenda, followed by quorum, which I believe is 11. Oh, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's 10.
11, 10. It's 10, just kidding. Wow, it's still 10. What a time to be alive. Okay, followed by old business, followed by the President's Vice President report, followed by the Treasurer's report, Chief Justice report, Senate Committee reports, Advisory report, Reserve Seat report, and public comments and announcements. Is there a motion on the floor at this time? Yes, Senator.
I move to adjourn.
There's a motion on the floor to adjourn. Is there a second? Is there any opposition? We are now adjourned.